Well, thank you very much. It's a great honour to finish off a seminar, particularly one that the Naval Institute some years ago did me the extraordinary honour of naming for me, which did concern me at the time as to whether I'd officially passed from being old and bold to been and gone. But my son reassured me and said I should only start worrying when it gets called the Goldrick Memorial Seminar. I would like to reflect a little, however, on what it's evolved into with our relationship with AXAX and the University of New South Wales. In a way, this reflects a maturing of the relationship between the university and the Navy and the Defence Force, of which Michael Fraser touched on this morning. I was the first non-engineer graduate to achieve 2-star rank. Peter Jones is the first graduate in the Navy to achieve 3-star rank. And the current Chief of Navy is the first officer to occupy that position who is a graduate of the university. And there's a maturing of that relationship. And we see AXAX, and we've now formed the Naval Studies Group within the centre, and the partnership with the Naval Institute as being an important mechanism for spanning both the military and the academic worlds in a location where we have the most opportunity to corrupt the future ADF young. And I'd also say, and my thanks go to Kinetic, that the fact that this seminar has been sponsored by Kinetic also reflects the importance of the relationship that needs to be there between academia, military, public service, and industry and business in a mature way which understands what each needs to achieve and what each can contribute. So my thanks to Kinetic, because that sponsorship, I think, is vital, but it also does reflect what the relationship should be. And I'm certainly hoping that the Naval Institute, AXAX, Kinetic and other sponsors can do more in the future. Listening to the presentations today, I see that there's a certain number of problems. I fully accept the public image, but we have more work to do to get people to understand that operations in the littoral are more than amphibious. And the littoral is not about amphibious warfare alone. I don't propose to offer a solution to that, but I think in the public mind it is vital that we do achieve an understanding because most of our operations are going to be in the littoral. That brings me to some associated problems, and I think they're tied up. I was also pleased to see that we did move to recognising, in the amphibious sense, but also in a wider sense, that it is about warfighting fundamentally. And I think there has been a degree of nervousness which has reflected in our staying a little too much in the humanitarian assistance and disaster relief narrative. I think we need both to be doing more about warfighting, thinking more about warfighting, and talking more honestly about warfighting. But that brings me to the next problem, which is in fact associated with the comments we were making about our international engagement and our regional relationships. What has to be very clear, if what we do is not in fact to destabilise and worsen the situation and relationships, is to be able to explain that we may expect to need, in the extreme, to fight in the archipelago, but we're not intending to fight against those in the archipelago. And I think as we evolve our warfighting concepts, I think that there's going to have to be a continuing partnership not only with the United States, but also I think we're going to need to do a lot more work, and this is where I think defence policy needs to evolve, our strategic thinking needs to evolve, and the next white paper needs to evolve, is how that partnership can be organised, cemented and advanced in an increasingly sophisticated sense with countries like Indonesia. And I see that United States relationship as being one line, that with Indonesia and other regional partners such as Singapore, such as Malaysia, as being another line. They will come together at times, but I think they need to be independent. Now, they may start, particularly in a regional sense, with HADR, but I think we need to be moving on. I think we need actually to be working out how we evolve to work together in higher intensity conflicts with our regional partners, who may in due course become more than partners. Finally, and I do very much take the point about the need for thinking about archipelagic operations and archipelagic warfare, and that there has not been enough of that done to date in Australia, and there are certainly not enough Australian bylines. And I think Chris and Al Palazzo's paper was a good start, even if a lot of us disagree with significant elements of it. It's actually about the debate. But I would make a warning. We need to be very careful not to accept received thinking about archipelagic warfare from archipelagic warfare gurus, because very few of them have ever done it remotely. If I read most of the doctrine, most of the writing that has been done on archipelagic warfare, it is by people who sailed and within 3 or 4 hours were in their operating areas. We're in a different situation. And it may be that the historical experience of the Southwest Pacific campaign and things like that will actually say to us more than people from Europe or other areas who've thought about these subjects in the contemporary. But I do think we need to be thinking more about archipelagic operations and archipelagic warfare. So I'll finish at that with my personal thanks to all the speakers for what I think has been a very interesting and stimulating day. I do know that Peter will be sort of working with various of the team to try and distill some conclusions, which in fact will be laid before the Minister and other people as the sort of things that we're seeing and finding and thinking about. But thank you all very much, and my thanks to the audience for coming today. It's been a good turnout, but I think it's been a worthwhile day. So again, thank you all very much.